Hey everybody, and welcome to another Design Boardroom. We're so excited you've joined us. And tonight's topic is a chart topper. We've had so many people recently talk about, including ourselves, how to rescue your website and your social media image and presence and all the platforms that we have available. I'm Sandra Reese, and with me tonight is my good friend Joanne. And Joanne is the one that has worked the most on this. That is why I show her working. I'm support team tonight.
Well, I'm delighted you asked me to come. And really, this whole event precipitated because Sandra and I, the last couple of months, have been really taking a hard look at her own social media and her own website. And so we've dissected it, torn it apart, came up with ideas, and she's getting a fresh new look on her website, and which let me tell you was not an easy task, and a fresh look on her social media. So in the coming weeks, you'll have to take a look at that and see what Sandra is looking at. Most of you that know of me know that I've been a designer and stager for over 40 years, and an educator. But I also, 20 some years ago, I saw that my students could decorate. They understood that, they loved it. But what they didn't know how to do was marketing. So I knew we had to, with the DSA, we had to expand and go into marketing. So I became a certified guerrilla marketing coach, and I have built a lot of websites over the years, and my primary business now is helping people in the design and staging industry and beyond build websites, do their social media, and analyze that. So that's why we felt that I might have something to share with you in this category.
Well, and she does, and I can honestly say, even with a background in marketing, this process is painful. Joanne can share any tips or insights with you all. I just know that it's going to make your life easier. And if something looks and appears too difficult, then we usually don't tackle it right away. So.
So, what we're going to talk about tonight is rescuing what you have, or maybe kickstarting what you have. But I'm hoping to share some simple strategies with you that whether you work with a professional, like myself, or you are a DIYer, I'm hoping we can share some ideas with you. Okay, Sandra. So, one of the things that I want you to think about, does your site simply need a redesign or a complete overhaul? When was the last time, excuse me, that you updated your homepage? If you are not updating anything on your site, your homepage and your about page are two things that should be getting attention along with the blog. Do your photos look tired or poor quality? That was one of the things that Sandra and I had talked about on her website. Many of her photos, because Sandra's website is very, very old, some of her photos look dated, and we all know that a room that looks so on trend at one point suddenly is out of style. And maybe the photos just weren't as good of quality as they needed to be. Have you taken the time to search engine optimize your site? Or did you just put up a site and maybe you use Wix or Squarespace or something, and you got to that part and you didn't really know what you were doing, so you did nothing? Is it clear what services you offer when people come to visit you? And do you blog? And we'll talk more about that as we move on today. One of the things that I want you to think about, videos are always going to be on trend, but they're really on trend now. And if you don't like your face on camera, faceless videos are a way to go. And what's a faceless video? Is just what Sandra's going to show you here. There's movement and momentum going on this video. So it attracts people. This would be a great Instagram kind of post, but faceless videos are something you can do, but you have to remember you still need to build that know, like, and trust elements. So occasionally you're going to have to get your sweet face in there. And listen, if I can at 73 still put my face in there, so can you. Sandra's a young one, so
And
she's
I
still got
hate
her
it.
cute, but it's not as important what it is you look about. When I finally gave up about that, here I am tonight. You guys are seeing my gray roots because it's time for a hair color. But when I quit worrying so much about the way I looked and worried more about giving you content that you could walk away with and say, oh, I can apply that. That's when I became much more comfortable online. So, what you need is a mobile optimized site. If your site is more than a couple of years old, I would dare say your site is not optimized for mobile. If you look at any that is under 40 or 45, even, they probably don't even have a laptop. They have a tablet and they have their phone and they do everything on that. The other thing that's important is consistent branding. If I go to your blog, if I go to your social media, it should look like your website. There needs to be that consistent branding. Clear, compelling CTA. So, what's a CTA? A call to action. When people get there, tell me what to do. Register here. Look at my portfolio. Push this button for a free download. Tell them what to do so they understand it. And then, of course, having engaging content in a site that looks like it is on trend. Chances are you have an outdated design. And if it's more than 2 or 3 years old, it's outdated. You probably have an inconsistent social presence. I bet you probably most of you either have given up entirely or you give it heck for a few weeks and then you go, oh, this is way too hard. And then a month later, you say, I'm going to give it some fire again. Your messaging may be weak. And also, your site may be simply slow loading. Maybe your pictures have not been optimized to load quickly. You may have too many words. Your navigation at the top may be confusing. They don't know what to do. And that was another thing that we talked about with Sandra's site. Because her site was so old, I mean, that original site was 20 years old. And, that it kept building from there. So Sandra, would add to the navigation bar. But when we really looked at it, we realized that it was confusing.
Well, and I'll add too is even you feel really good because you like changed the look of it and updated along the way. But our site behind the doors was
Mhm.
getting so bogged down. And this is what the key is. When I uploaded a photo one day, the whole site goes down. And I was like, okay. And no amount of updating photos or the look was going to take away from the fact that the whole platform, I needed a whole new platform and behind the doors.
Right. So some style tips for 2025 is you're more negative space than positive. You need those clear spaces for the eyes to rest. Using bullet points, not paragraphs, and ideally using icons for your bullet points, because again, it just adds some interest in a small way. Using 2 or 3 fonts and think about who your target market is. If you have a Gen Z market, many of them cannot read script. So if you want to use script as one of your fonts, think about who your target market is. Using animation or video just to make your site more interesting, as simple as that little picture you saw a minute ago where the drapes were blowing. Um, and most of all, authenticity. It is so difficult. And I meet people like this all the time that they have their public persona and they have their business persona. Now, the more you can be the same person both places, it's so much easier
Mhm.
for you to do so. Any one of you that know me or know Sandra know we are who we are. And I remember years ago, I worked for top designer. We're talking 40 years ago. I worked for a top designer in our community. She was the be all to end all. And she kept trying to, I was her Eliza Doolittle. And, the one day I said to her, this is who I am. And so, yes, I'm more casual and maybe I laugh too loud and maybe I'm more silly. She was very proper. I am sure I drove her crazy, but I couldn't pretend to be a different person than who I am. Authenticity is critical. So, the job of your online personas, your website, your social media, is to provide clarity first, help people to know what you're all about, what you offer, what you do. Second is cohesion, having that continuity between all of your online personas, connecting with people so they're interested in what you're doing, is going to lead to number 4. The important one is conversion. I don't know how many of you on here happen to be TikTok fans. Sandra and I are a
It's
little obsessed. There is a
terrible.
woman on TikTok that has not been there for a great length of time. Her name is Nina Poole. And Nina Poole will find what she started calling duperonis to expensive makeup brands, skincare, all of that type of thing. And she's so down to earth and she's autistic and she has, a number of things that she struggles with. And she's very honest about it. This is who I am. And if you don't like it, but she's brilliant, and is able to do um, build such a following because she is so authentic. So she's connected with people and it's converting because now she's making money. She's getting brand deals. So conversion is critical. So if you need some specific advice, you can call Sandra or myself. But if you want a free helper, we're going to talk about how you can begin with Chat GPT to look at your site. Sandra, I'd love to know how many of your attendees this evening have used Chat GPT or another AI tool.
If you guys will just raise your hand, then I will give us a count. All right.
Now, I know, chat AI, there is some scariness to it, and I understand that. But I also know that it is great to have a free virtual assistant that can answer just about any question you want. The key is that using Chat GPT, you have to challenge it and you can't just copy and paste and say there's my blog, because it needs to sound like you. It needs to understand who you are and your personality. So
About
do you
30%.
okay, so many of you have not traveled down that path. That may be another class we consider here, Sandra. So if you are using Chat GPT is free. There is a upgraded version, which both Sandra and I have the upgraded version because it gives you some other perks. But the first thing that you want to do in Chat GPT is you want to introduce yourself. You want to say, hey, I am, and this is what I do. And I just want you to get to know me. And you're going to talk to it like you might talk to somebody that's really interested in what you bring to the table. Tell it who you are, tell it what you're trying to accomplish, because then that will impact the other questions that you'll ask. You also want to use smart prompts. And if you haven't had that word, a prompt is simply what you say to ask it a question. Create a headline for me today. And what I often say is position yourself as a social media expert and create some 5 ideas for trending topics in my industry. So it knows my industry because I already took time to introduce myself. Also, don't overload it. If you're asking questions, just ask 1 or 2 questions at a time and work through those thoroughly. And pay attention to what chat says to you. And you'll see that in a minute. So, for example, if you have your website, paste your homepage headline in there and ask it, rewrite this to sound more friendly, more modern, more experienced, younger, whatever you want it to say. Give me 3 versions of a headline. If you don't like them when they're done, say, let's try that again. Drop your about page into Chat GPT. Just go in and copy and paste your about page, paste it into Chat GPT, and then say, update my about page to make it feel more interesting, more warm, more friendly. Again, whatever you want it to be. Maybe you want it to feel more polished. Maybe you want it to feel more professional. And then describe your ideal client and say, rewrite my service descriptions to attract this audience, and add any services that might appeal to my target market. You might be missing out on something that you can be offering that you hadn't even thought of. Sandra, feel free to hop in too with any comments or questions.
You're doing great.
So I went into chat and I said, examine my website, joanneleonardweary.com, and make some suggestions as to how to improve it. Begin with my homepage headline, rewrite it to make it sound more appealing to today's design clients. Now, remember, chat knows who I am because I introduced myself when I began and said, this is my target audience. This is my specialty. I have 40 plus years in the industry, so it knows who I am. Okay, so then chat came back with a very formal headline. Chat said what you're reading on the screen. And it said, to resonate more with today's design clients, consider a headline that immediately conveys the benefits they'll receive. In other words, when you went to my site, it said, hi, I'm Joanne Leonard Weary, an expert, because I wanted to let them know that they were dealing with someone. But the thing is, they don't really care about that yet. They simply wanted to know how I could help them. So chat did come up with a headline that was very polished, professional. It wasn't Joanne at all because I'm not polished or professional.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I went back. I went back and said, give me something that is more casual and conversational. And here's what it said. Option 1, let's create a home that feels like you, beautiful, comfortable, and totally inspiring. Option 2, your home should tell your story. Let's make it a really good one. Option 3, ready for a home that looks amazing and feels just right. I've got you. Now, if I didn't like any of them, then I could say to it, give me something else that didn't quite fit it. I want something that is less wordy. I want something that is more formal, whatever it may be. But notice what I have highlighted there is chat said to me, want me to build out a full hero section, headline, subhead, call to action based on your what's the word under there?
favorite.
Okay, based on your favorite. So as I said, when you're playing with chat and you're analyzing your website, see what it is willing to do for you. It will always take you to the next level.
And it is just amazing. All 3 of those options are great ones. I mean, they are
Mm-hmm,
definitely more conversational and warm, like you were
mm-hmm.
asking. I liked all 3.
Yeah, me too. And then it also recommended that I needed some clear call to actions on my page. Things like schedule your consult today, explore our portfolio, discover our services. These call to actions encourage engagement and help direct clients to key areas of your site. Tell them what to do. How many times do you walk into, let's say, a new store, and it's like, should I go right or should I go left? Studies will say you'll go left first, um, but people want to feel very comfortable about what they are supposed to do. You have to think of your website as your digital storefront, and those first impressions matter. So, do you look tired and dated? It's like if you're staging a home to sell, oftentimes you walk in and the house looks like it hasn't been updated in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, depending on the house. And your job, when you stage a property or decorate a property, is you're bringing it into today. And you want to think of your website the same way. If your website still looks like a piece of paper floating on a different colored background, those sites are very dated looking. And it would be a house that if you were trying to sell, you wouldn't get top dollar for it. Again, we talked about that clear navigation, and tell them what to do next. Want my free decorating tips? Download here, push this button, tell them what to do. And then also make sure that you're including testimonials, contact info, and a portfolio. Now, what if you're new and you don't have testimonials yet and you don't have a portfolio yet? Then provide them something else. Create a portfolio with doing a photo shoot in your own home. Create little vignette shots. They don't need to be entire rooms. Ask mom, a friend, a sister, can we do something in your living room? Create some little shots that will help you get started. And then ask them if they'll write a testimonial. And as you gain new ones, then those can fall away. Do not have a testimonials only page. You want to intersperse those testimonials throughout your site.
Yeah, that makes it one extra click. I'll share this story. We just announced the DSA Style Awards. And the gal who won the seasonal decorating, she had just taken the class and showcased her own trees that she had done in her house. They
Mhm.
were amazing. And I gave her so much credit because she enters this contest and now she is a national award winner based on, like Joanne said, she didn't have, clients yet.
Right.
And by the time we announced the winner and she had just used her photos, she had decorated 10 trees for people. So it
Wow.
was very impressive.
Yeah, because by creating those things in your own home, it can become content for your blog, for your website, and that's going to lead to customers. You start building that. So here's some simple things that you can do right now if you have a website. First of all, if you're using something like WordPress or Wix or Squarespace, that it's a templated site, take a look and see, do you need to change your template? Does the template simply need to be fresher and newer? And that's a pretty easy change. Go through and really look at your photos and put into chat. Please look at the homepage of mydecoratingsite.com, whatever your domain name is, and give me some ideas of what I can do. So update those photos and headlines. Also, make sure that your photos, that you have optimized them so that they're not as big as they are originally, so that your site loads faster, because people are very impatient. Add keywords and clear call to actions. Now, they say keywords are not as important as they once were, but the bottom line is, if Google is scrolling my site, if I don't have the word interior decorating anywhere on my site, how does it know to recommend me? So think of the keywords that matter. Refresh your colors and fonts. Are you using old style fonts? Go in online and again, go to Chat GPT or some other AI and say, what are the on trend fonts in 2025? Or give me a font combination that works well together. I want three fonts. And go into Canva, ask the same question. Um, Make sure that you're including some kind of opt-in or freebie. It doesn't matter if you have 10 million people following you on Instagram and it goes away tomorrow. You don't have anything. So you want to capture those email addresses so you can start doing newsletters at some point. And again, SEO is critical.
And when you think about, we're in an industry where we're all about helping people pick out colors,
Mhm.
sell the property, staging to sell. I mean, it would make sense that our site gets this facelift and has colors that that are good harmony.
Right, right. So here are four templates that are on Squarespace. I just went in and looked at or grabbed them. Notice that in the first the two on the left, notice there's a lot of negative space. But look at the top left there, dietitian, nutritionist, and yoga instructor that prides herself on emphasizing mindfulness. So I know what she does, but I don't know how I benefit. So this is like my comment where, hi, I'm Joanne Leonard Weary, an expert. You want to know, a dietitian and nutritionist that can help you lose 20 pounds in 15 days. Wouldn't that be lovely? Um, make it about them. What are the benefits of them continuing to work with you or to read your site? I'm a decorator who can turn back the clock on your room or whatever it is. Save money with me, whatever your niche is that you're doing. um, and then notice again uh, the pictures on the right. The one on top feels on trend, and because it's like a lifestyle kind of photos, take control of your business. Immediately, I'm like, well, how am I going to take control of my business? I'm going to be curious. I'm going to keep looking. But the one on the bottom right looks kind of sad and tired and dated. And I don't even really get what it is that site is about. It doesn't tell me a story right away. The others, portfolio, I know what I'm going to be looking at. So when it comes to social media, you want to use the social media that supports your brand. If your clients tend to be 55 and up, Facebook is a good place for you to be. If your social media is 55 and below or 50 and below, Instagram is where you need to be. And if your audience is 40 and below, you better be on TikTok. Pick one main platform. And of course, now they sync together, so it's easy. Post consistently. I don't care if it's one time a week, three times a week, just have some consistency to what you're doing. Make sure you're using video, as in reels and stories, not just static pictures. And most of all, pay attention. Don't put a post up and then not do anything. If someone likes it, make a comment. Mary, thank you for liking my post this week. Do you have another idea? If someone writes a comment, make sure you react to that, because all of that stuff is going to help your social media platform uh, think more highly of you. And again, a clear call to action in every post. What do I do? Do I download it? Do I read it? Is there a graph? What do you want them to do?
And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I love this comment, the second one about post consistently. When you really study some of whether it's Instagram or TikTok, there's such a recycle. of content. So it's not
Hmm.
like you get overwhelmed, like, oh my gosh, I don't have anything else to say because I have said it, 10 times. Well, people are really just being more consistent, but the concept could still be a repeat or slightly.
Absolutely. Yeah, don't be afraid to go back to a post that you did 6 months ago. Make sure you're paying attention to your insights. Again, that was something that Sandra and I did. We spent a lot of time going through a lot of her posts and just said, why didn't this one get noticed? Why didn't it get viewed? And some that we were surprised. It's like, oh, well, that got more views than we anticipated. So what does that mean? We need to do more things like that. And creating content that connects, keeping it real over perfect, share tips, stories behind the scenes. People love reality TV. Give them a peek into your life, give them a peek into your screw ups. Don't be afraid to be real. And batch and schedule posts. If you're doing your own social media, say, the first Monday of every month, I'm going to sit and create a bunch of posts, and then you're set for the month. You can schedule them. Have your phone out, take B-roll every chance you get. I don't care if you're getting ice cream. Take a little video of holding an ice cream cone. You're going to find a way to work it in there. Get some B-roll of the sunset, of the swans swimming on the water. The Canadian geese have just flown back into our pond and we'll be having babies soon. Whatever. They don't have to just be room shots, because let's say you get a shot of a rainbow in the sky. You can talk about how Roy G. Biv, Mother Nature's color palette works today. Or look at the green grass and the yellow tulips, and, make it talk about the color theory that it is.
Well, even today, Joanne and I were talking about there was an article, um, and we thought it was ridiculous. And
Uh-huh.
it's okay to even share why you disagree with what they're considering a trend, because if it doesn't line up with what would work for in all of our homes, whether it's a measurement rule type thing, it's even okay to go put yourself on a limb and go, this is why I'm not loving this trend. Or
Mm-hmm.
or like you even said it was a trend.
Mm-hmm. So, when contemplating your website or social media, think, what do I want to read? What do I want to learn? What do I want to be entertained by? Because the people that are going to be following you are probably a lot like you. What is your desired outcome? What is it that when you take the time, I always will tell the people that I'm working with for websites, I want you to go out and find 2 or 3 websites that you like the looks of. And then we're going to talk about, what is it you actually like? Is it the colors? Is it the fonts? Is it their message? But think about, what do you enjoy reading? Pay attention to, when you're looking at your social media, what are the ones that make you click, that you'll see that little snippet of a reel, which ones actually make you push the button so you can see the whole thing, and track the things that are interesting to you. Also, there are so many places online, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, where you can go in and do trends. I have an Instagram thing. I'm trying to find the name of it, but it was an app that I downloaded, and I think it's called Real Trends. And I can go in and put in various categories, and it'll pop up some reels that fit in there. And this is what they look like. They're going to be reels that have done well. So it's like, all right, what about this made it go viral?
And I'll share too, there was one website that I really just aesthetically loved it. I loved the look, the colors, everything. But Joanne made a really good point about like what are their results? Even though I may like the look of it, if they're not being effective in getting those clicks, then okay, I don't need to mimic that. I don't need to kind of use that as an inspiration.
If you need some help, you can call me and we can talk about what you might want to do with your sites. Please, any questions tonight, put them in. We'll share a couple more things before we're done. But if you just want to do a review, we'll Zoom together, review your site, and I'll give you a plan of things that you can do on your own if you're a DIYer. If you want to just make over or redesign what you already have, it starts at $300. New sites are starting at $1,200. And then if you need some help with the social media strategy, don't just do it, have a plan. That's starting at $100.
And to your own self be true. I kind of like working on websites, but it's almost like the cobbler and the shoe thing. I mean, hopefully we're all so busy with clients and stuff, but that's why I found it so valuable to have Joanne's eyes and input on mine because first of all, it's great if you're in the industry. You need somebody that knows how to talk
Mhm.
this, what they're looking for, and what sells. So it's great to have that set of eyes that know what we do. So I really it made a difference in how fast I'm getting this done too. That's the other thing. Um, and I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. And
Good,
I will
good.
say, you guys, to get a whole new site for $1,200 is dirt cheap. I mean, when you even think about if you want to do it yourself and go to Wix, you're going to be working for, you're going to make about $1 if you get it done by then. So yeah, give her a call. I mean, and the social media strategy, I mean, it is just not in my wheelhouse. I just don't enjoy it, so therefore I don't do it. So yeah, feel free to call Joanne and she will give you an honest, thorough dissection of all these platforms. So,
Now
okay,
we,
let me make sure. Let me see if we have any questions.
Sandra, there's a couple more slides.
Okay, I thought I had one I was gonna ask you about this. Okay.
Okay, so here's your rescue plan. Here's where you immediately start. Take the time to audit your site and your socials. Go in and look at your insights. How many people are visiting? How long are they staying? Um, what is getting the most or least amount of attention? Prioritize 3 to 5 key fixes that you look at and say, okay, just today, I can go in and change all of my fonts or update the pictures on my homepage. And then schedule updates and revisit that monthly. And then Sandra is going to tell you how you can get your rescue toolkit. So what I did was I put a checklist in there for you that you can look at, a quick fix cheat sheet, and then also some prompts for Chat GPT or whatever AI you might be using, that you can start to kind of get some ideas. If you have no site at all, go in and tell it, this is who I am, this is who my customers are. Give me an idea, a framework of what my website should be. And Sandra will tell you how to get the download.
So yeah, if you'll just head over to Instagram to the Decorating and Staging Academy's platform there, the last post that I just put up, I just put it up tonight for you guys. In the caption is the link for the toolbox, and you can download it right there. It's a Dropbox link. And reach out to me if you have any issues with that.
Okay, so start small, stay consistent. You do not need to make your whole site over, but make it a priority that you keep working on it a little bit at a time, or hire someone like me or someone else that can get it done for you. Progress is going to beat perfection. And if you have any questions, there's both of our numbers. Anybody have any questions right now? Please feel free to drop them in the Q&A.
Or the chat, either one. I think I have more in the chat. Let's see.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let me see. Um, okay. You've answered everybody's questions really fast. This is such a fun webinar that we do, and it is very casual, but it is loaded with information. You've got all of our contact information. And as always, we appreciate you guys joining us on this monthly webinar.
Thank you for joining us and hope you got some tips that will help you to move forward.
Thank you.
Bye.